Hey, good evening.
Jeff, I gotta ask, what's that music called?
It's called Beat Smash.
Beat Smash. Okay.
Beat Smash.
All right. Yeah, I was going through some. So we'll just wait a few minutes to see if other people trickle in here. When I was putting that short together, I was going through some musical choices, and the names are just fantastic. Some of them are really, really specific. But I ended up I chose a beat called Sportsmanship, which I thought was, didn't sound like I thought it was going to sound.
Oh,
right?
Thank you, Thomas Campbell. Very exciting music. Yeah, it's royalty free, so we won't get tagged by the YouTube police.
Yes, we enjoy the price was right.
Yes,
so to speak. I saw the Brewers were kind of getting smacked around by the Dodgers a little bit.
Probably payback from yesterday, I guess.
I think so. Yeah. I saw Devers apparently had just no chance against Charlie Morton.
Why? What happened?
He just
waving,
tapped out back to the pitcher and struck out twice. Like he looked like he'd never seen Charlie Morton alive before. Which is good. As a Braves fan, I would probably prefer he not launch 3 balls into the chop house, but
yeah.
But anyway, so, oh hey Ben, what's going on, buddy? Yeah.
You know what we should do is put a story up that we're on IG, that we're live now with a link.
Oh.
So with all your spare computers, why don't you?
Right, with all my spare computers. Oh, gosh, I don't really have IG on any of those computers.
Yeah, it doesn't work very well on computers, does it?
No, it doesn't. But anyway, it requires you at one point. It required me to know my Instagram password, which amazingly I don't currently know. Really, I've changed it like 100 times. It's some weird assortment of letters.
So you can only go on the ones that you're already logged in. That
is correct. Yeah. I have it like saved in my phone somewhere. I don't know. It's like uppercase, lowercase, number, weird, shift and number nonsense. But yeah, I see some people are coming in. So welcome to a little Tuesday night, Blabbin about Slabbin here on YouTube.
Yes.
YouTube giveth and YouTube taketh away. I notice it's a lot clearer, which is much better for the cards, but a lot worse for my 44-year-old face. So apologize to all of our viewers.
It's clearer and things aren't in reverse.
Right, which is nice, which is good. But yeah, so as Jeff and I hinted, we had a pretty exciting weekend.
Yeah. And as we've always talked about, we have goals, card collecting goals and targets. You may remember before our preseason target was to get a Shohei Ohtani autograph, and we did manage to do that after some searching. So our latest goal was to get a Mike Trout Bowman Chrome auto.
Yeah, we've been watching. Those prices have just been. Hello from Japan. Happy Wednesday morning, if I remember correctly.
That's right, ahead of us.
We've been watching those Bowman Chrome auto prices drop and drop and drop, and suddenly they dropped into like a hemisphere that maybe we could reach up into if we sold enough stuff. So that was the idea.
We kind of thought that ship had sailed with the Trout prices going up and up, but then over the last year or so, as the market has cooled, as Chris said, the price came down to a spot where it was actually reachable with us. So, that was our plan. That was our target. We were looking around. We were watching every place we could find some, looking at My Slabs, which is where we like to look.
Yeah, we actually narrowed it down. There were 3 on eBay we were pretty interested in. I know I talked to a couple people. Ben and I had a pretty long chat about them. But there's that refractor, the Bowman Chrome Auto refractor ended. I want to say it was Sunday night, right?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Or maybe it was Tuesday. Maybe it was last night. I don't remember. But we were watching that one pretty closely. That ended up. So that was kind of like the card we were most trying to get to, and where it ended, we weren't We didn't have that much anyway.
Right.
But continue, please.
All right. Well, so that was our target. That's what we've been looking around for, and that's what we've been selling for. As we talked about last week, for anybody that joined us, we've been consigning a lot of smaller cards in an effort to get enough funds for when one of these big cards comes available. But an important point about collecting is that you always have to be ready to pivot.
That's right.
And
it's also worth noting we consigned some medium cards that turned out to be small cards that we
yes.
we were anticipating.
Some high end that turned out to be more mid end, and mid end that turned out to be low end.
But even with all that, though, we consigned this pile of cards, and it actually produced, while a disappointing number, it's still a fairly large number that we were able to work with. Yeah.
Right. So this is all to say we've been following closely these Trout cards.
Yep.
But something else appeared, and I got a text from Chris the other day with a picture of an absolutely beautiful card, one I never have seen and didn't really think I would see. Nope. You want to tell us where you found that?
Yes, I was actually I was at a pretty empty gym, really just kind of enjoying what an extended break we'll call. Sometimes that happens when you're on your phone there. But yeah, in a Facebook group, this gentleman posted that he had this card for sale. He had a price that was high, but this is a card that Jeff and I knew was there. We knew it existed, especially in this condition. I think there's 3 of them, so we knew it was there. But we never expected to ever see it. I assume these were tucked away in like long-term PC vaults, and we'd never see them. But he put up a price, and I think he also said he would accept part trade.
Yes,
which is what got Jeff and I very excited. He listed the only people he traded were 4. He said were Kershaw, which Jeff and I have nothing. Ohtani, Trout, and Acuna. And if you know Jeff and I, you know we do have some Acuna cards. So I messaged the guy. We went back and forth. Finally, I was like, listen, here's my IG handle. Just scroll through. Anything you see that you like, get back to me. So he wrote something funny. He said he was just going to like crack a couple beers and just kind of sit in his computer and just scroll through. So he came back. He liked a couple of cards, and we went back and forth. And it basically got to the point where he decided he didn't want to trade. He just wanted some cash. It was interesting. The card he most wanted was a Mookie Betts card.
Yeah,
it wasn't even someone from his list. But Jeff and I basically talked, and I don't think anything was off limits. Maybe one we had said we probably would not part with for this one.
Yeah, the Acuna auto. There was an Acuna auto in the talks. A pretty sweet one, I might say. Blue Bowman Chrome rookie gem. Yeah, we had talked about some other high-end Trouts.
Yep. Yeah, some of the Chrome SSBs. But Thomas, if you're suggesting that's the card we're going after, it was not. It's not an Acuna auto.
Oh.
I spoke to this guy, and eventually, after I would say like almost 2 hours of occasional messaging, not like straight message, he basically said he didn't think he was ready to sell it. So he was going to pull the car back. I was like, all right, well, Jeff and I looked at what we had sort of made. We had those consignment. We sold that Ohtani Stadium Club. I'd sold Devers. I think you had sold some basketball player I'd never heard of.
Yes. Yeah.
So we had a pretty decent pile of cash, and we're like, all right, well, we'll give you this, everything we have. Like, we'll give you this amount if that gets it done. He's like, I appreciate it, but I'm gonna hold for now. I love this guy. I'm like, okay, no problem. And then about hour and a half later, I get a little beep on my phone, which is usually a message from Jeff saying, here's another auction that we need to watch, or why don't we buy this card? But it was that guy saying, you know what? I'm in. Let's do it. So Jeff and I were like really pumped. But he did say, he's like, just send me the money, friends and family, and then I'll pay to FedEx it to you. And at that point, I honestly was like, are you kidding me? We've come this far and this is fake. Like, this isn't real. I was so immediately disappointed. So I talked about, he's in Northern California. If you saw my Instagram story, he's in just north of San Jose. So we did some math, and I'm like, well, hell, it would take me about 11 or 12 hours to do a quick round trip ride. We talked about meeting next weekend, like somewhere in Fresno, but like no one wants to wait that long. Now, very conveniently, Jeff has kids, so he can't just up and disappear, for 10 to 12 hours.
Hey, they're good for something. That was an excuse there.
That's right. That's right. I don't have kids, and I have a bit of a salty wife, so it's really fine for me to take off for an extended period of time. So yeah, so that's what we decided to do. I was like, I will just drive up to San Jose tomorrow. Now I got to tell you, when I told my wife I was doing this, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be gone for like 10 or 12 hours tomorrow. I'm driving up to San Jose to meet a complete stranger in a parking lot of a bowling alley, by the way. To buy a baseball card. She was kind of upset, but like, Jeff, you've been married a long time, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers are also married. When your wife is upset, you can kind of tell what kind of upset you're dealing with. And I was expecting like she would be mad and worried, like concerned for my well-being, but that was not it. That was not the emotion. What I was getting is sad, or like, I'm sorry, mad and jealous. And not jealous of my fun road trip to San Jose. I'm pretty sure she was jealous that someone else was going to have the privilege of murdering me outside a bowling alley parking lot. I'm pretty sure she has planned some elaborate murder for me, and I don't blame her for this in any bit. But I could say I was getting a sense of jealousy. She wanted to really feel this guy out, not for my safety, but so that her plan to murder would remain intact.
Right. So yeah. So your plan to meet a stranger was kind of throwing her plan to have you die at the hands of a pretend stranger.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to stab your husband to death while he's sleeping if he's already being strangled in a San Jose bowling alley.
Yeah.
Tough. But against all odds, I did make it. I tell you, the drive from LA up to San Jose is not a pleasant drive. There's a lot of like cow pastures, and I think like some slaughterhouses, and the air is just horrible. It smells terrible. But to be fair, I was also eating like beef jerky and drinking coffee, so the air inside my car didn't smell significantly better. So it was kind of a rough drive.
Well, hey, welcome, Lucky Peter card collector. Thanks for joining us. Chris is in the midst of telling us that he survived this trip.
I did.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a spoiler alert that you did survive the trip. You're here.
I did make it.
And I believe the card is here.
The card is here. Yeah, the guy was perfectly pleasant, a very nice guy. If we ever make another deal in the future, I would feel comfortable sending him friends and family, probably up to a certain point, like anybody. But yeah, it was pretty good. I did notice that when you get out of a car after 5.5 hours, when you're in your 40s, your legs really feel like you've just been doing squats for like 3.5 hours. Like, it's a brutal stiffness. But what do you think? Should we?
I think you got to reveal it. You laid the full story.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic opportunity. It was a Facebook deal that went well, which is
it went very well. And I will say that I think we each have different people that we run ideas by, like brain trust, so to speak. And I got like nothing but green lights every time I mention this card to someone.
Yeah.
And the condition is, obviously really, really important. Okay, so, yeah.
All right, I think let's preface this by saying I think while my point about being ready to pivot is important, there were limits to what we were going to pivot to. So yes, we were saving for this Trout, but there's probably only one other player whose cards that we're looking at now that we feel comfortable pivoting to, and that happened to be there.
Yeah, and this is a card of a player we have talked about. When the hype is high, you avoid the hype, but sometimes it can't be done. It cannot be done. So, oh wow.
That's that's quite a trusting buyer you've got there.
Yeah. I mean, I wish we all could trust people that much.
Yes, you should be able to, but
you really should be able to. But that's a lot of money to just send out there with no ability to pull it back if something goes wrong. I mean, you can badmouth them on the internet, but I mean that doesn't really accomplish much.
Yeah, for $10K.
If you know anything about Jeff and I, you can guess that the one player we would supersede Trout with would, of course, be his teammate. So we bought this card. I'll try to do kind of a bit of a slow here. You can kind of see. This is, of course, Shohei Ohtani's Topps Black, Series 2 Black, number 700. This card is just awesome. You can see the white jersey, the black background. It's just like, this card is incredible. And amazingly, this guy up in San Jose had one of the 3 PSA 10s.
Look at those corners, man.
It's unreal. Like, it's probably the cleanest 2018 black I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
Yeah, numbered out of 67. Yeah, this is just this is pretty phenomenal. I don't really feel comfortable like having it in my house almost. Like Megan was like, or my wife was like, where are you gonna hide this? I was like,
Yeah,
Jeff's house.
Absolute beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have yet to see this in person, but I'm blown away even just by seeing the images of it.
Yeah, it's incredible. I like what we just talked about. Like, if you told me that football player trimmed this, I wouldn't. That's what it looks like. It's absurdly
so
clean.
Clean, yeah.
Like, I can't imagine going through a machine and being in a pack and just being handled. But yeah, that's just, I got like goosebumps when I got there. The bowling alley turned
until you get in your hand, you don't know if it's really true until you get it in your hand and see it.
Yeah. And he actually, Series 2, definitely better than Update, 100%. So we met outside. It turned out to be a bocce bowling and wine tasting place, which is just a fantastic idea for a business.
Did you spend some time there with your new friend?
No. Once I had this thing on my person, I was back in the car and back on the road. What was I going to say? But yeah, he already had it like packaged up to mail. So he gave me like the box with the tape on it. And I'm like, well, I'm not just going to like take your word for it that it's in here.
I got to see it. You drive all the way home and open it up and find a Jared Kelenic base chrome.
Right. I mean, you'd almost have to appreciate it. But yeah, so I mean, I ripped it open and then it was like all bubble wrapped in tapes. Like, oh, sorry, I guess I should have I should have opened it up for you. I'm like, well. So it was a little bit awkward while I sat there and tried to like open it, just to get a good look at it. But yeah, I mean, I've done nothing but look at it, pretty much since then.
And interestingly enough, as Chris and I already discussed, if any of you have watched our Shohei Ohtani rookie cards to target, the flagship parallels happen to be the #1 rookie card that we were suggesting to target. And the black was the first one we suggested.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to
I never thought we'd have it. I never thought we'd have it.
Never. No, we pulled a picture off the internet, and I can only find one picture of one on the internet.
So sometimes we do take our own advice, and I think it was good in this case.
Yes, I think this card is amazing. We were talking about it, but if you were to like, what rookie cards of his besides autos could you even say would be better than that? I don't like a Bowman Chrome Red, maybe.
Maybe, but it's not flagship.
Yeah, it's not the flagship.
Lucky Peter, it sounds like you have quite a smoking rainbow. You only need the black vintage stock Mother's Day. And somebody has a Mother's Day. Is that Ben? Or somebody we know has the Mother's Day.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Lucky Peter card collector, send us a message later because I think we know somebody that has a Mother's Day.
Yeah, I mean, I can't promise they're going to get rid of it or be willing to move it, but we know they do have it. You can always pry things away, but your Independence Day Ohtani is absolutely fantastic. That's a beautiful card. Yeah. Oh, there is one on eBay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, but sorry, we can't part with this black one, Lucky Peter. Find another one. And as Chris mentioned, it is a pop 3, so there are 2 others like it. I can imagine that they'll be out in the sales anytime soon.
No, Jesse, I know you had asked if it was a Max Muncy when I hit the road. It was not. It was not. Jesse G there was suggesting a couple places I could bring the card to on a date on the way back. Oh. I thought that would actually be kind of like a funny picture of me sitting down to like a steak dinner and the card with its own little steak dinner. But at the end of the day, I just didn't want to stop.
You would have been nervous the entire dinner as you're sweating, staring at that card across from you. What if somebody comes and grabs it?
Right. I mean, no nervous that I would be on an actual date.
Yeah.
So you know.
Levi Reed, I think all I need is the Independence Day and the black. Boy, you guys are smoking with these rainbows.
My goodness.
We have a gold, and now we have a black.
Yeah, and that's it. I can't imagine it going any further. We have the SPs or the SSPs, and that's about it. I think that's probably going to be it. But yeah, it's just I keep looking at it like the all white jersey, the black background. Like it's just such a really it's a perfect card. It's great.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen some of these early season polls going around about early season MVPs, but just about everybody has as Ohtani and Acuna in the National League as their early MVPs. And the way Otani's going, I think he's only allowed 14 hits or something absurd.
Jesus. Yeah, his pitching has gotten better.
Yeah.
It's Lucky Peter. That's a great strategy.
Wax, yeah, Ohtani wax is the way to go. I agree.
I haven't seen a camo. I did see someone on Facebook posted they got an 8. They bought a raw that came back an 8. I saw that, but I haven't seen one come up for sale anywhere.
Yeah, I did see that today on Facebook in the Ohtani group. If any of you are big Ohtani collectors, I definitely recommend joining that.
Oh, no, that was you.
Hey, Peter, was that your post? Did you just post it on Facebook?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, congrats. That's an awesome card.
Yeah. What was this Facebook that you found it in? This was the Ohtani group, wasn't it? The black?
This was in the Ohtani group as well. It's called like Shohei Ohtani Collectors, I think.
It's been great. We've made a lot of sales in there and just met a lot of people virtually through there.
Yeah, and they're actually really good at they don't want like jerks in there. They're very against like price bashing and being disrespectful. So
yep, they kick out the riffraff.
Yes. Oh yeah. And there's no like 3 strikes and you're out. Like if you say one inappropriate comment or you bash someone for their price once, like one of the admin.
Make sure everybody coins their cards, which is a nice feature from the top. Not my. Okay, so there's another 8. So there's another 8 rolling around.
Ooh. Levi, did you pull that back in the day or anytime recently, or did you manage to find it out in the wild for sale?
I think it was Lucky Peter that has it. So yeah, did you pull it?
Yeah, I don't know. Man, yeah. You and I would never pull something like that.
No.
And if we did, like the dog would eat it or something. I don't know.
Right, or it'd be bent. Lucky Peter.
I bought it.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. Nice.
Yeah. So as Chris mentioned, it is not always a great idea to buy cards when that particular player market's going up. But in this case, I just feel like we just had an opportunity that we wouldn't get again.
Yep. Absolutely. Jesse Galvez, to coin a card, like if I'm putting a picture of a card I have for sale, it's basically proof of life. Like if you've kidnapped someone. So usually you just put like your name on a piece of paper with the card.
And the date.
Indicates that you own the card.
Right, because what would happen in a lot of Facebook groups or the early days, people would just grab a picture off eBay, put it on there as their own, and just trying to get people to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. And then they pull the old, well, you have to use Excel or Facebook Wallet or something like that. And then the next gone. It's gone really fast. But yeah, so Jeff and I, we had consigned all that stuff. And there was a time when we were lamenting some of the prices we got for the cards that we consigned. But now that they've led to this, like I haven't given those cards a second thought.
Exactly. And I've noticed that, I mean, this is kind of a pinnacle of consigning to get a bigger card, but even in the past, getting smaller cards. But once you get rid of those cards you have, at the beginning, maybe you see what they went for auction. You're like, oh boy, I could have got more than that. I should have hung on to that. But then once you turn that into a card you really like, you usually forget about that. So I feel like that this was a great example of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there was nothing, even though those prices were down, there's nothing I miss.
Right.
Some dignity is gone, but, but we don't really need that.
Yes. The fact that we're this excited about a piece of cardboard stuffed inside a piece of plastic, the dignity is out the window. But
it's already been forgotten. I showed my wife. She stayed up for me for when I came back, because she loves Shohei Ohtani. She wanted to see the card, and the first thing she said was, "It's not even signed."
She wanted the autograph, huh?
Yeah, she wanted the autograph. Yeah.
You go into a deep explanation of the history of Topps Flagship black parallels and how sought after they are.
I started to, but she didn't make it all the way through. A door was slammed pretty quickly during the lecture.
Did you slide it under the door?
I just started texting I'm like, oh, honey, you missed the you missed the last part. Let me just write this down for you.
Yes, amidst my wax collection, I do have some Ohtani wax. Got a couple of these.
Oh yeah.
I was fortunate enough to buy a case of these from Target when they came out, and miraculously I didn't open them, so I still have a case of these. Yes, and Chris has his.
Yes, Chief Wiggum is back there. Right there. Yeah, I don't know how you don't open those boxes. I don't know how you do it.
I mean, you've seen what we pull out of the boxes, so they're worth a lot more. Jesse Galvez, open it live. Well, maybe I'll turn into a break, or you want to buy it? You can send me some, and I'll open it right now for you. What do you think about that?
I couldn't handle watching you turn into Ralph Wiggum getting his heart torn out of his chest on a YouTube live. It would be too hard to watch, too hard to experience.
Oh, plus they look nice back here, so
they do look nice.
Oh, and speaking of Ohtani, can never show this one enough.
Oh yeah. Yes, I question Jeff's humanity a lot as well.
Well, for other reasons, but yeah.
Sometimes he's just able to mentally just be too strong for his own good. Or in this case,
it makes a nice background though.
They do fit the shelves really well.
Mm-hmm.
The symmetry there is good. What's the Star Wars box, by the way?
Oh, this is from last year. Let's see, where is it?
Sapphire?
Oh yeah, it's Star Wars Chrome Sapphire. Last year was the first time that Topps Chrome Sapphire Star Wars was out, and what they did was they took a lot of the original card, the original design from the 77, 78 series, and they made them into Chrome Sapphire. Some of the images are the same and some images are different, but I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I'd like to open it, but I know I wouldn't be happy with what I pulled out of there. So yeah, I think I've got 4 or 5 of those boxes. I'm just trying to save them, and we'll see. Someday I'll open them.
Oh, I'm going to be honest. Right now, I think I know exactly how my wife felt last night when I started to explain the Topps Black parallels to her.
Yes, Lucky Peter. They are a remake of the originals. Yeah, I loved seeing them, but after seeing what the singles were going for versus, what the boxes are selling for, I was able to restrain myself and keep them.
Yeah, I mean the best. I mean, I don't know much about Star Wars, but the best collectibles are those Kenner toys from like the late '70s, and if they're still they got to still be in the package. They got to still be packaging.
Yes, they're crazy. Yeah, I have my entire collection, but they're well played with from when I was a kid. I do have a couple in the package, but they're not the rare ones. That would be willpower if you were able to keep those in.
Oh yeah,
in condition.
I was a little late for Star Wars. I have some He-Man, but I definitely played with He-Man.
Yeah.
But uploading?
You mean uploading or uploading? I want to know, Lucky Pete. Are you?
This is the way. Yeah, you mean ripping? Yeah. What does uploading mean? Or is it an autocorrect? If you're gonna open that live, we definitely would tune in to watch that.
Yeah, I would tune in to watch that too. On your channel. All right. Drop a comment after here what your channel is so we can.
Yeah. Please.
I mean, I assume it's Lucky Peter Card Collector. I guess we'll just click on, but yeah, I think sealed wax is a great investment, and especially when you talk about a year where there's multiple players that have been successful and can continue to be successful, because then you're not just investing in one player.
Yes. So yeah, it's also that almost daily the population of it goes down, or the supply of it goes down pretty regularly.
Yeah, when there's a lot of people breaking products or opening it, yeah, we'll watch Lucky Peter open his.
Yeah, I will look forward to that. All right, well, I mean, I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I know we were gonna talk this week about some of our preseason picks, but I don't have that handy, so let's do that next week.
Yeah, agreed. I didn't look at those anymore. I just remember I picked Acuna for MVP, so I'm gonna stick with that. I think that's pretty much.
I think, who was looking good until his last start was rough, but he's still.
Yeah, I mean he's not gonna be perfect every time. Certainly, I also thought the White Sox would be good. So
Yeah. Well, they still might be, but they've got a ways to go.
Yeah. There was a thing on MLB Network today about whether they're going to be sellers and like who's a potential
Oh man,
trade piece for them.
that's pretty disappointing. If you're, what is this, May 9th, and you're already thinking about being sellers on a
Yeah.
season you thought you'd be competitive.
Yeah, it's not ideal,
Yeah.
for sure. Thank you. Yeah, we'll work on some other.
Thank you, Thomas. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. We're glad that Chris survived the trip, because you just never know, meeting a stranger that you meet on Facebook in the middle of a bowling alley parking lot.
Yep. I thought you were going to say you're glad I survived the trip because that means the card made it back.
Well, that's true, but it would have been really funny if the card made it back and you didn't. I'm sorry to say.
Yes, that'd be. I pull in the driveway like bleeding.
Right. You didn't make it, but you handed off the card to your wife.
Yes, you're holding up the slab. It's got like my hair and like blood over it. Like,
I'm wiping it off. That's evidence. Oh, I don't care.
No,
Cleaned up.
you just send it right in to get reslabbed, like reholdered right away.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in and listening to our story about our Ohtani purchase. We're very excited about it. It's the biggest purchase we've ever made, and we look
probably
forward.
The last purchase we made for a little while.
Yeah. More consignment.
Yes, we're gonna have to. We have some smaller Ohtanis to move to try and recoup, start again.
If anybody's in the market for Ohtanis that aren't quite that size, or other parallels of the rainbow, I'm sorry guys, we don't have any other of those, but hit us up for something else.
Yeah, we do have some image variations.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, well, thanks everybody again for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Please subscribe to our page. We're going to be putting up a lot of videos as we go, some shorts. The Acuna short was pretty good. We got a lot of feedback from that last week about his best cards, so I think we're going to do that with some other players.
Absolutely.
Get some feedback. So please subscribe and find us on Instagram. That's Chris, Baseball Card Addict, on Instagram, and I'm Jeff, my favorite cardboard. Thanks for watching.
Cheers. Have a good night.